That first heard case is long over. Aquaman 2 came and went. It flopped, it tanked, whatever you want to say. But on social media, things are still going on around the case, fan skirmishes, and whatnot. Now, what I said here about a year or two ago, after the case ended, is what's going to happen is Amber's going to lay low, and her lawyers and things, whoever's on her side, mostly are going to lay low. What I mean is the important people, not her little fans who no one cares about. But then what's going to happen is when the Johnny fans start saying, let's not talk about Amber anymore. She's over. She's done. Old news, which you hear all the time. They're going to start to come back and try to make a new narrative. And that's what you see here on Vice. Now, I'm not sure exactly how far they'll take it. Will she now try to go on HBO? Some other interviews? Whatever. But all I know is if I was them, that's what I'd do. I wouldn't just forget it and say, I lost, I'll fade away. They got nothing else to do. So now, for whatever reason, Vice is going to help them put out some info about how Amber couldn't have ever won in the first place because of social media, that old narrative. Due to copyright reasons, I'm not going to play the clip because I never know exactly what's going to happen if I do, but it's got subtitles, so we'll go through it, and it's only 40 seconds. Also, shout to that umbrella guy. I think he found it or he posted it pretty early on, but obviously it's from Vice. It's their clip. So, Elaine, Amber's former lawyer, or one of her lawyers still, whatever it is, says he developed this fan base. Well, wrong. He's had it since like the early 80s that just adores him unconditionally. I mean, part of that's kind of true. Yeah, people adore Johnny in a special way you don't see very often. I see it, I guess, kind of in the Beatles, maybe, but that's not necessarily anything. That just means he's kind of special. They will blame whoever he might have done something wrong to. It's their fault. They asked for it. Well, Amber, what did you do to cause him to hit you? Okay, so there were some people on the fringe saying, well, maybe he did this, but it must have been a reaction or something like that. Do you think she just did nothing and he just started this abuse out of nowhere, like he's never done with anybody else in the past? And then their argument is, well, people are different with other people. Well, if that's the case, why was he different with her? Or hypothetically, why would he be different with her? Well, that answer would be because she was different than Winona Ryder, Vanessa Paradis, whoever else in his past. It's not like she was the same sweet person and he just treated her different for no reason. But having said that, that's hypothetical. Let me reiterate. We know there wasn't actually abuse. You must be the bad person here, 'cause she was hitting him, not punching him. That wasn't bad. And that's the way they thought. And it's all just that simple. There was nothing there as far as evidence, things that didn't make sense she was saying. She seemed so genuine in her speech patterns, her facial expressions. Of course, that's just the way they thought because it was unconditional. About 95% of social media wasn't just anti Amber, more than that, it was with a purpose to annihilate Amber. Guess what? That couldn't be more wrong. What was the purpose? The purpose was to prove Johnny was effing innocent. Yes, people had interest in what Amber was doing. They had to watch, find evidence, find proof, call out things that were strange. They had to have eyes on her, but the point was not to annihilate her. It was to prove Johnny was innocent, and that was what like 85% of people cared about. Sure, some people were a little triggered and mad this happened to Johnny because he's a good guy. It's understandable, but the majority just wanted to prove he was innocent and clear his name like he did. There's no way she could have survived this. But somehow she did. She got a slap on the wrist, didn't end up paying much, and now she lives in a $2 million mansion in Spain somehow. living better than like 99% of the world. But she couldn't have survived it. There's no way anyone could have survived this. 9 Lives of, new episode, Wednesday, 10 p.m. Vice TV. Well, Vice, you've made it clear what side you're on. And here's Tug's post of Elaine and Vice's little special here. By the way, Amber Heard's a Liar is trending right now, February 18th, 2024. What do you know? What a surprise. Of course, lots of comments here, over 300. And Becky says that his fan base grew over that period of the trial, but mostly they were DV survivors and some even people who supported her. Also, some people like myself who were fans of Johnny but got reminded of him because of this and then said, wait a minute, I've never heard anything bad about Depp my entire life. This doesn't sound right. Let me check it out. That was a large part too. E. Lewis says, the more they do this, the more harm they do to AH, and the more success JD has. Ordinary people are not interested in AH. Gellert Depp says, I love how she's pulling it out of her arse. She doesn't even know what the online discourse was. Mountain Dew really does that to your brain. Alright, yeah, sure. I never liked Mountain Dew so much. And as you can see, the comments go down and down and down. That's pretty funny here. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. If you're not subscribed here, consider it. If you don't, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.